Okay, so I'll be going over screening and the Prisma, how to create the Prisma for your study. Here is my outline. We'll start by the defining screening, going over Rayyan, the tool we use to screen the studies, going over inclusion and exclusion criteria, the screening process, how are conflicts resolved in screening, and finally how to fill a Prisma chart. So to start, what is screening? Screening is the first step in each systematic review and meta-analysis we do. It is a two-steps process to filter out papers you want to include in your meta-analysis and systematic review.
Sorry,
As I
Hussein,
said,
if you could, I don't know if it's my volume. Okay, yeah, go on.
okay, it always starts with title and abstract screening as a first step, and it is then followed by full text screening of the papers that passed the initial step, which is abstract screening. We'll be going over these steps in details later on. Screening should always be done by two reviewers that are blinded to the decisions of each other, and Rayyan is the platform we use in our screening process. Uh, you'll get access to Rayyan. Rayyan is very easy access. You can easily access Rayyan. Go over to Google, write Rayyan, and you'll be able to sign up to it. That's the initial screen you get. 1 second. Okay, I provided a link here for Rayyan. Rayyan is usually should be set up so you guys, anyone who's tasked with screening will be sent a link, will be invited to our Rayyan platform. Rayyan is usually set up by one of the senior researchers. He will add the studies to Rayyan and send invite links to everyone who should be screening the papers. And definitely each member should create his own account on Rayyan. Once you sign into to Rayyan, you'll get such a screen where you can see each study you've been added to, and that's how you access your studies. How to decide which studies to include or to exclude in your first step, which is abstract screening and title screening. Uh, On Rayyan, there is a section where you can see the inclusion and exclusion criteria, which are usually written by the senior researcher. So you'll have to read your inclusion and exclusion criteria, understand them well, and then you should start your screening. You should never start screening papers without understanding your criteria, because every decision should be based on these criteria. Sometimes the inclusion and exclusion criteria are not written on the Rayyan website itself. You'll get them on your WhatsApp group that was created for the study. So it will differ between each study. To start your screening process after you've understood your inclusion and exclusion criteria, you scroll down on your homepage in Rayyan, and you can see here the Start Screening button. Always screening will be blinded to the two reviewers or more that are doing screening. Uh, to explain it, uh, the other reviewer will never be able to see if you included or excluded a paper. So you'll finish all your papers, the other screener will finish all of his papers, and then the senior researcher will turn off blinding to see how many conflicts you guys have.
Sorry, Hussein, is there any way to make this slide a lot bigger because we can barely see anything, to be honest.
That way. I have. I tried to zoom in. Can you see?
Okay. Yeah. Not too great, but
That's the maximum I can zoom in, honestly.
yeah. Is there a way to present a landscape view?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's fine. That's
That's
manageable. But you have to then scroll around the screen. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, you can see here where I'm zooming in now. That's the button you press to start your screening process. In that example I'm showing now, two screeners, as you can see here, Sam and Ruba, had already finished screening. I was the senior researcher. I turned off blinding, and you can see here 41 conflicts. That's how many conflicts they had after they finished screening approximately more than 1,500 studies. That's when the senior researcher should intervene. What will he do? Okay, before that, you can see here the portal. That's when you access the screening. That's the portal you'll see. Studies will be listed, and you'll have to press on inclusion, the green button. Exclusion is the red button, and the orange one is maybe. That's when you're not sure if you should include or exclude your paper. You put it as maybe, and you'll go over it later on. Definitely, when you screening can be easy and it can be a little hard. That's why you can use filters that you can see on the right side of the screen here that are provided by Rayyan. Filters are used to make the screening easier. So definitely, as you should know, guys, case reports, for example, are should never be included in your meta-analysis and systematic reviews. That's why you go to, for example, you go for over your filters, you select case reports, meta-analysis, systematic reviews. You get all of these, and you can exclude them right on. That's how you exclude approximately 200 or 300 papers without even looking at them, to make your screening process easier. As you guys get more experience using Rayan and do more papers and research on it, you'll get a better hold of how to use these filters to ease up your process, the screening process. As I said, when the two reviewers finish screening, the senior researcher will turn off blinding so that you can see conflicts. Conflicts can be resolved by the senior researcher, or they can be resolved by the two screeners by consensus. That depends on each project and how many conflicts there is. Um, so the decision is always taken by the senior member of the research team. Here you can see I provided an example where you can see your conflicts. After you press screening, you can see you can go over conflicts, and that's how they will appear. For In this example, uh, Fa and Thomas were the screeners. They had 12 conflicts. I intervened as senior researcher, and I resolved them. They weren't resolved by consensus, but by the senior member of the study group. Okay, what's next? What's after resolving conflicts? The second part of screening now starts. We agreed, everyone agreed on including a certain number of papers. What should we do next? For those papers we agreed on including, we only read the abstract and title. Is that enough? Definitely not. For each paper that is included, a full text screening should be done. That's why each included paper's full text should be searched for and downloaded. Most universities that you guys are in provide access to major databases, so it should be easy to download the full text of these papers. Both reviewers that did the initial screening should go through these full text and agree on which should be included and which should be will not be included, because some papers, even though their abstracts seem to fit the criteria, will be excluded after full text screening, as you will notice that they don't fully follow your inclusion criteria. Once you agree on every study, full text of included papers should be added to a Google Drive and sent to the group for everyone to check. That's screening. What's next? So one of the reviewers that did the screening should create the Prisma chart. A Prisma flow chart should be present in every single meta-analysis and systematic review, as it explains the screening process, stressing on every step of it, from how the senior researcher removed duplicates, to abstract screening, downloading full text screening, and final inclusion of papers. You can see here an example. I'll try to make it bigger. 1 second. Okay, you can see here an example of a Prisma. In this study, for example, the senior researchers started and imported 804 studies to the Rayyan. Uh, he checked for duplicates. No duplicates were present. So he that's when he invited the reviewers. The reviewers had 804, as you can see in this one, 804 abstracts to screen. Uh, Both reviewers screened the abstracts. They agreed on conflicts, and they excluded 795 papers, and they had only 9 included papers after they finished abstract screening and conflicts were resolved. They had 9 abstracts that were included. That's when the second step of the screening process started. They looked for the full text. They were able to retrieve the full text of all 9 studies. That's why the EPOS not retrieved are zero. They had 9 full texts to check. They went through the 9 full texts. They excluded 4, as 4 of them did not meet all of the inclusion criteria, even though the abstracts seemed to meet the inclusion criteria. But when you go through the full text, sometimes it's not. So you exclude them, and they ended up with 5 studies. And that's the Prisma. You fill it out, you send it to the group, and that's everything practically.
Hey, thanks for saying. Thank you very much for that brief and uh, clear discussion. Now, what I'm going to do is, if you stop sharing,
1 second.
let me see if we could.
Can you stop it from your side? I have no idea how to do it.
That's fine. Well, let me see if I could share my screen. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, good. Fine. Let's pull up Ryan. Let's pull up Ryan. It is live, and let's pop that in. So that's my login to Ryan. Fine. Let's go to a more. So, guys, this is how you go about your screening. Just like Hussein has said, has demonstrated. So these are some of the active work on my dashboard on Ryan. For example, you could see that even one study has about 4,569 articles imported. So those are kind of things that you need to, that's how large your screening could be. Let us go into drawing up a new review, right? So this is how you go about. So you come in to create new review. You want to put your review title. But take note, most times before you start your Ryan, remember you'd have identified your search. That is, you would have identified the the group of articles you want to work with. So let us look for let's do some search. Let's say, for example, um okay, this is just crude. This is just from my head. Let's say um let's use the example that was used last week, plasmacytoma, right? And no, let's use distal radial fracture. So let's try and design a study where we are trying to find where we're trying to analyze the clinical and radiographic outcomes following distal radial fracture fixation. Yeah, let's do something of that nature. So distal radial fracture. So just like what Veronica said last week, you could use truncation. So you can put a star just to truncate. So anything fracture would come up, right? And let's say volar plating. Let's just call it, yeah, let's call surgical fixation. Surgical. So surgical fixation. So you can see I'm using truncations because, and I want papers that talk about outcomes, right? Whatever outcome it is, just talk about outcomes. Let's see what we'll find. If we find anything actually. 21 results, right? And this is from me doing this short. Remember, you from what was taught last week, you would find the synonyms of each of these and try and create a broader search term with the synonyms using or between them, and if you're combining things. So let us work with this one. So we've got 21 results, right? And we want to save this. And remember what Veronica said last week. You want to save all the results and not just the results in the on the page, all the results. And like she mentioned, you could use CSV or PMID for Rayyan. Let's go for CSV and let's create file. So it's been downloaded. So that's the file that's been created onto my my computer. So I go back to Rayyan, right? And the review title was systematic review. On, or let's call it this way, distal radial fracture polar plate fixation clinical and radiological outcomes. And this is a systematic review and meta-analysis. So yeah, so you've done that review title. Your review type is a systematic review. Your review domain is biomedical. You don't really need any description. You just create new review, right? So it takes you to the next step. So you've added your review, upload articles. So this is the point where you then upload the articles you want, right? And to upload articles, you select your files. And then this is my most downloaded. This is my downloaded file. So you select your file and you open it up. And that's the article there. You continue while it uploads the files, and upload is successful, then you continue. So to accelerate your work, you want to invite members, right? So let's assume I invite Hussein Akil at yahoo.com. And Hussein Akil at yahoo.com. R Musco Gliati. Rodrigo, remind me, is that Gmail as well, yeah?
Yes, it's Gmail.
Is that correct?
Yeah, it's correct. It's a strange name.
Yeah, you see how often I've worked with these guys that I even know their emails off heart. Imad, remind me your email as well.
ImadAshar02@hotmail.com.
Yeah, Ashka 0.
Yeah, 0202
At Gmail, yeah?
At Hotmail.
Hotmail. So this is what you do. You want to invite your core member, your members, yeah? And then the roles, you want to invite them as reviewers, right? And then you invite them. To detect duplicates, if any. By starting detecting duplicate, Rayyan will find all duplicate articles and organize it for you. Proceed. So these are the articles that we've imported, 21 of them. There were 2 total duplicates, right? So from this, I can then resolve the duplicates. So by starting duplicates, let's see, or start resolving, yeah? So start resolving those duplicates. So these are 2 articles that were duplicates. You want to find out, are they the same or are they different? So the treatment of complex interarticular distal radial fracture with turning radius and distal volar plate, displaced interarticular fracture, open reduction. So these are different articles. The authors are different. So I would want to keep both articles. So you can see there, keep both articles, right? And that is it. So I think with that, our duplicates have been resolved, right? So you can then start screening. So this is an overview. These are all those that has been invited. Hussein, Rodrigo, Ahmad. You can see all of them there. And then one key thing that Hussein mentioned is the blind mode is on. You can see the blind mode is on. So whoever is screening don't know what the other person is doing. They screen individually. And then when the blind mode comes off, you see what everyone has done. You come to review data, you then have everything on here, right? Now, one of the challenges with CSV is it imports the articles. Rodrigo, with CSV, can I see the abstract? I don't think I can see the abstract, can I?
I think so. I think it depends when you're extracting, if you've selected to show everything. But
So
if you go on the screening, you should be able to see the abstract on the top, on the left.
The top right.
Yeah. So let's see. So that's that. So that's you've got to know your references and you want to start screening. And so the abstract ideally should come up here. But I noticed that I think I noticed that the CSV sometimes just imports the article title. PMID, if you use PMID to download your articles, that is. Veronica, with CSV, what's your experience with it? Or can you still get abstract from there?
Yes, you can. The thing is, when you select the articles to download, you need to click. There's another option to click that you need to
extract the complete the reference.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. So that's all results. All results. You create file. Is that here?
From PubMed, I would use PubMed. There's a specific
the female.
PubMed ID.
Yeah.
That one.
So guys, so CSV here, you would struggle to import your document. So you could see with CSV, it's imported, but it's coming as titles and the authors, right? However, let's try something else. Let's try importing it as PMID, right? These are all recognized by Rayyan as well. So you create a file. It's on here now. I come on to Rayyan. So I could go to, because I've got this as abstract, it might not be the greatest because you want to be able to read the abstract, if anything. So come here, let's then create a new review. Do the same thing you've done before. Choose the review type. And then you create new review. Close. I don't want to activate anything. Yeah, let's see. So what I need to do first of all is probably, because I already have this review, I need to delete it. View reviews, and then delete this review so I can import it again. So guys, does it all make sense where we are so far?
Yep.
Good.
Yes.
And this is all, we're all doing this live, so you see that, you see how the process goes. It's not, you know, it's doable. Taking its time. So yeah, so that's the process, and then you get that into your should I wait for it or just skip it because it's taking forever? Let's wait. Oh. So let's see. Do the same thing you did earlier. Let us invite Hussein as a reviewer. Invite. So because I didn't wait for it to complete its importation, let's do that again. And hopefully this time it doesn't take time. File format is not supported. Okay, so you can see. So it said that you just come back here and these are your document, save, PMID, PubMed, create file. PubMed, let's see if that's supported. I think it's similar. So that's supported, no, fine. Detect duplicates, if any. Okay, got it. So it's still importing. Hopefully after today, you should be able to, after doing your search, import your articles into Rayyan and start screening. So you should be able to lead on projects. It's taking its sweet time. So while it's taking its sweet time, does anyone have any questions so far with the process? So I can't see you. I don't know if your hands are limited, are raised or anything. Just unmute yourself and ask if anything. Guys, it looks like Rayyan is not playing ball today.
Rayyan is struggling.
Yeah, he's struggling. But yeah, hopefully if that all comes true. Yeah. Sometimes it just, if it goes into this circle of doom, I don't think it's doing anything. I think it's just, let's try something. Oh, see, that's the thing. The circle of doom has been imported already. Fine, good. So let's review the data, screening. Yeah, so you can see. So downloading it as PubMed itself has given us access to, you can see the difference between CSV, what we did earlier, and PubMed. So now I have, to this first paper, I have access to the title, I have access to the abstract itself. I could read through if I need further clarification. And following that, you could then easily apply your keywords to exclude or keywords to include. If you're doing a randomized control trial, you want to only choose randomized control trial. When you click on that, all it shows you are the randomized control trial, the ones that mentioned randomized within the abstract. And you can see we've reduced 21 to 3. That helps your screening significantly. If you want to exclude, if your exclusion criteria is no retrospective data, you can click on that and it excludes it. It says that the 5 that showed as retrospective data, you could just exclude them if they are. It saves you a lot of work. So yeah, that's it basically. And then when you're done screening, so if you want to include this paper, you click on that and that includes it, and it puts your name there. Remember, the blinding is on. So all your screening will be just your name. So the second one, let's say I'm excluding the second one. The third one, if I'm not sure, I put a maybe. You can see. So these are the and then you could always sort of put a reason at a note. So if I chosen maybe for the third one, I put a note saying query study design or something like that. So you know the reason why you put a maybe, you get. So yeah, so that's simply how to do it. And remember what Hussein said. All the included ones, you export them, you download them, and you design a Prisma chart accordingly. Let me stop sharing. All right, guys. All makes sense. Any questions?
No, awesome.
Good. So I'm going to stop recording now.